Waging war on corruption. Alex Jones on the GCN Radio Network. Big Brother, mainstream media, government cover-ups. You want answers? Well, so does he. He's Alex Jones on the GCN Radio Network. And now, live from Austin, Texas, Alex Jones.
Well, he's one of my favorite interviews. Porter Stansberry of Stansberry Research is going to be joining us in the next segment to give us his take on the world and where everything's going. We're continuing with your phone calls right now, asking about the future of the world. Where do you see it going? Omar in Washington, thanks for holding. Thanks for calling. You're on the air, sir.
Hey, this world we live in, it's a beautiful, rich, abundant planet. It's gifted to us by an all-loving, all-powerful creator who has breathed the very essence of divinity into all of us. And if you want to know the true path to enlightenment, listen to Master Yoda.
All right. Sounds good. I appreciate your call. Let's talk to James in Canada. You're on the air. Go ahead.
Hey, I'm on?
Yes, sir.
Oh, okay, good stuff. Hey, I just want to make 2 quick points, and then can I end with asking you a question before you let me go?
Yeah, go ahead, man.
Awesome. Okay, first number point, the whole race thing, it's just a distraction, all that. Where the world's going to that point, I don't think their New World Order ain't going to work out. What we're seeing right now is with the liberty movement in America is just exploding. You guys are going to win. You almost got Ron Paul in 2012. You guys are going to do it. And then in Europe, Nigel Farage and UKIP, they're going to get rid of the EU. And once they get rid of the EU, they're in some hot water. They have to go like, bam, they got to.
Well, I was about to say, though, the EU starting a war with Russia as the distraction to allow them to not collapse. I mean, they will start a war before they let the New World Order collapse.
Yeah, that's what they need to do. They gotta take the spotlight off them. They gotta start that big moment. But it's just so hard now because a nuclear war. No one wants to have a nuclear war except for these people. So I can't see it happening. We're gonna win it. Basically.
All right, James. Good to hear from you from Canada. Interesting points. Ryan, you're on the air from St. Louis. Go ahead.
Hey, Alex. My comment's going to lead into my observation, but I just wanted to say that I woke up whenever I found out that the Vietnam, the Gulf of Tonkin never happened, and that just led to everything else. And then I hear about, Jimmy Savile, and then the addendum for him was he was actually a pedophile. And, I can handle that as a smart thinking individual, but where I think the future's going is, you have David Icke on sometimes, and we all know what he says. So, I think you hint at it, but I think we're headed for some interesting times in the next 15 years. Like, the veil's going to be lifted.
Well, I think the veil's already lifted to a great extent if people are willing to open their eyes up. But I think you're absolutely right.
But, how you say we live on a planet in outer space, and, that fact needs to be considered above all else. I
mentioned that to just talk about how fantastical everything is and how incredible it is and how just the experiences that we take as no big deal are so rare and wonderful. I was in the Colorado River Saturday being drug around behind a boat, body surfing, hanging onto the back of the boat. And the water was like 65 degrees, just so refreshing. And it was so sunny and beautiful. And the trees were all psychedelic. And I had just such a magic experience with my children. That one consciousness, that one event would be worth the equivalent of a lifetime. That one experience was so deep and refreshing and real. And people all over the place just take it for granted. To walk outside at night and see the moon and the stars and to see life and just everything is so enriching and rewarding. And then meanwhile, the globalists want to put themselves in front of us like they're the universe, they're the world, they're the future. They want to make themselves reality and dominate our reality. They want to destroy our free will. These people are a joke. But the fact that they're so stunted and that they rule us is the bigger joke. Sorry, closing comment.
No, I agree with you that everything is beautiful and it's a wondrous time to be alive. But, do you think people can handle the truth if David Icke, is even half right?
Who knows how deep the rabbit hole goes, man? I know the people running things want to hurt innocence and want to stunt humanity. Alex Jones here with a very important announcement. A lot of you asked me to come speak in your town or city. I would love to, but I'm so busy here in the trenches at the InfoWars Command Center, I'm just unable to travel. When my friends at Stansberry Research, one of the top analyst firms in the world, invited me to be part of a special one-day event in Dallas, Texas, I could not say no. You will hear from true experts like Porter Stansberry, T. Boone Pickens, Cactus Schroeder, Bill Murphy, Van Simmons, and myself, Alex Jones. I will be speaking on the fact that history is happening now. We are now at a critical juncture where more happens in a month than happened in the previous 10 years. I will also be breaking down the fact that a moral society is the only truly prosperous and safe society. May 31st, it's one day. The tickets will sell out. Simply visit AlexJonesDallas.com or follow the banners at Infowars.com. I have secured a discount for my listeners when you visit AlexJonesDallas.com. Again, that's AlexJonesDallas.com to secure your tickets to this one-time event, and I'll see you in Dallas. Hi, folks. Alex Jones here with some important information. I want to tell you about Matt Redhawk and his team of patriots over at My Patriot Supply. Several years ago, Matt was sitting in his two-bedroom apartment, frustrated with the direction this country was headed and the charlatans willing to sell us out for a quick buck. Deciding to take action, a company run by patriots for patriots was born. My Patriot Supply has never taken a loan or accepted outside funding. They now operate 2 distribution facilities and employ over 50 hardworking American men and women. It is rare to find companies who practice what they preach. And that's why I stock my pantry with high-quality storable foods from My Patriot Supply. Go to mypatriotsupply.com/Alex today for special offers on emergency food storage, or call their preparedness specialist at 866-229-0927. That's 866-229-0927. Do business with someone who shares your values. mypatriotsupply.com/Alex.
General, what do you think about the FBI saying that there's a terror alert on Monday about a potential Fort Hood situation?
The police are shoving people, shoving Alex, shoving the crowd.
Here we go, folks. I'm being assaulted.
Whether it's the radio show, the news websites, documentary films, or the nightly news, InfoWars is the tip of the spear.
Is this another false flag stage attack to take our civil liberties and put more homeland security while sticking their hands down on the pants on the streets?
It's up to us to set brush fires in the minds of men and women everywhere. And that's what PrisonPlanet.tv is designed to do.
You watch, the Assad regime is going to be blamed or accused of using chemical weapons against the so-called rebels.
What we see now is a war against reality. It's a war against the truth.
It's more vital than ever that supporters of freedom become members of PrisonPlanet.tv and share their membership with up to 11 friends and family. Visit InfoWarsNews.com today. Become a member, share your membership, and help take the InfoWar to the next level.
Defending the Republic from enemies, foreign and domestic. It's Alex Jones.
That's right. I know we have loaded phone lines when Porter leaves us. If you want to hold Charles and Adam and Kathy and Lisa and Rich, folks from New Jersey to Rhode Island, from Texas to Vermont, we'll get to all of you. Porter leaves us at about 45 after, so I'll go to your calls then and some other breaking news. Here's some of the stories up on Infowars.com right now. Patriot Group protests Cinco de Mayo ban on American flag T-shirts. It's happening all over the country. And they've been called racist. CIA and FBI work with fascists in Ukraine as war in Europe unfolds. Ron Paul says Common Core is really the last straw. Very important exclusive interview with Ron Paul. Obama supports not... again, Mark Dice talked to Obama supporters, and they say not liking Mexican food is racist. This is how dumbed down the public is. Students, it's illegal to wear an American flag T-shirt on Cinco de Mayo. L.A. County Sheriff admits Big Brother is here, but we kept it pretty hush-hush, getting into all the police state systems and drones and the rest of it. Israel wants to give Mount Zion and the Tomb of David to the Vatican. And another Ron Paul article he wrote, not an exclusive, but a Ron Paul article that's very important. Why we no longer are number one. That's just some of the top stories up at Infowars.com. Other stories, 90,000 Nevada residents could lose health care insurance due to Obamacare. Worst polls yet for the Democrats as just the beginning of Obamacare goes into place. So that's just some of the news on that front. Good news, I'm looking at Drudge right now, 6 abortion clinics left in Texas. People just are really waking up to those and saying no. So abortion clinics are shutting down all over the place as abortion becomes more and more unpopular in every poll, especially with young people. It's over 70% against it now. Those numbers are reversed since 1973 with Roe v. Wade. It shows that despite the mainstream propaganda and brainwashing, the truth continues to come from behind. The question is, how do we save our civilization from just the overall dumbing down of our society and our civilization? Now, Porter Stansberry of StansberryResearch.com is a hard guy to get on the air. He's one of my favorite guests to get on. He's very busy. And I remember reading some of his financial newsletters back in 2007. And really, I mean, it all came true. What he said in the housing market, what he said would go on with a whole bunch of things. And they've been able to paper over some of his latest predictions with unlimited quantitative easing. But in the real world, even with cooked numbers, we have 0.1% growth. Unemployment's incredibly bad, but they cooked the numbers there by kicking people off full-time work to part-time, so they got 2 jobs. So they say, oh, look, jobs are increasing. Everybody knows, for most people, the economy's in the crapper. But it's a selective economy now. It's so scientifically rigged that certain divisions are doing well while others aren't. Much of this country looks like a third world bomb zone or something. So I wanted to get Porter Stansberry on about the top stories he's working on, the cutting-edge breaking financial news and investments that he's looking into. And then I'm going to get him to talk about on a one-time event coming up at the end of this month, one-day event in Dallas. T. Boone Pickens is going to be speaking at that event and so much more. And again, T-Boone, folks, is, I don't even know allowed to tell you how much it is to even get him to speak. But you got Porter Stansberry, myself, Cactus Schroeder, Bill Murphy, Van Simmons. I'm going up there just to speak for free because I want to, be part of the Stansberry Research Society and all the benefits that come with that, because they've invited me to other events that I couldn't go to, in other countries and things. But this is Dallas, so I said I'd come to the next one. I'm going to be there. AlexJonesDallas.com. They sold out of the main level of the ballroom, but they were able to open up the area right above it. And so, again, they've got limited tickets, 25% off the price that was already there. And it looks expensive, but you can go hear, somebody like Glenn Beck speak and pay more. But that's to pay for all the speakers to give you inside cutting-edge info from my perspective on the economy and more. I look forward to meeting T. Boone Pickens, the billionaire from Texas, and more. But again, AlexJonesDallas.com. That's not the reason Porter's here. Porter's here because I want to get his take on a whole host of issues. But I would imagine this will sell out. The first round did. They added some limited tickets. So AlexJonesDallas.com is how you go and find the direct link to find that 25% off Alex Jones Dallas. Okay, let's go to Porter Stansberry, the founder of Stansberry and Associates Investment Researchers. I can't wait to hear what you have to say, because this is kind of a cliffhanger. You always drop big news on us, Porter. What do you want to talk about out of the gates?
Well, I want to get to some things financially to help benefit people, because, as you know, Alex, that's what I really do. We research investment ideas for folks. We do so on an independent basis, so we're not bankers or brokers. We just sell information. And, of course, we only make money if people renew our newsletters, which means we got to put out the right information or we're quickly going to go out of business. But I have an item that I thought was right up your alley, and I don't know if your team has found this or not yet. If you've already talked about it, then we can move on right away. But I thought it really interesting that, the new FATCA law is going to take effect July 1st. And FATCA, as I'm sure you know and your readers and your listeners already all know, is about closing down any ability for Americans to have offshore banking accounts.
Yes.
Has nothing to do, of course, with tax evasion whatsoever, because these are all accounts that are disclosed. It's all about the record keeping that is required and the requirement that these banks withhold taxes from any transaction. And there's just no way that they can meet these requirements. So the government knows that, of course. So what it's doing is it's forcing a lot of investment dollars back into U.S. banks. the same time, this just came out today, FINRA, which is the securities regulatory body that's owned